Good evening, everyone. My DTF printer decided to start shaking or stirring or whatever it does right when I hit the go live button. So I'm going to let that stop. Meanwhile, let me know, can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? Is there an echo? What is it like? But thank you guys for coming in tonight. So it's almost done. It's almost done. There we go. It's done. All right. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Hope you guys have had a good day and a good week. The week's almost over. Thank goodness, the work week, and I'm ready for the weekend. But I was gone last Thursday, and I'm super thrilled to be here tonight. I was ready to come on at like 5:30. I was just itching to come on. So let me go ahead and say hi to some people, some folks, everybody in the comment section. And if you don't like this part, go get something to drink or something. I did have somebody recently in a comment say, is all you're going to do say hello to people? I think they said, I'm over it. So anyway, I do want to say hi to people because I really appreciate you. So hi, Cheryl Green, first person here. Welcome here. Oh, thanks. Yeah, last night I was on the Crafty Brick. And I was competing against Eva, the baby's booty, and Eve would have kicked my bottom, but she had problems with her cutting machine. So I took the win, but it was really a win by default. So, but thank you. Hey, Unbiased. Hey, Victoria's Creations. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Marlene. Hello, Kevin. Welcome here. I'm so glad to see you here. Hi, Martha. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Patricia Johnson. Hi, Carrie Crafts. Hey, Starla. Thank you so much, Carrie. Hey, Arnique. And Unbiased is saying the same thing. Hi, Rosalind. Hi, Tamika. Hey, Carol. Welcome here. Hi, Jennifer. Appreciate you being here. Hello, Renee. Hi, Linda. Let's see. I see Gail down here, and I see her saying hi to Unbiased, but I don't think I said hi yet. So, Gail, hello. Hey, Elba. Hi, Judy. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Leslie. Hi, Nikki. Hey, Retired Crafter 22. Thank you for being here. Hey, Viola. I saw a lot of you in the Patch Hat Crew chat just a little bit ago. They had some really cute things today. Hey, Karen D. Hi, Tish. Hey, Carla Thomas Anders. Hey, Mary. Hope you're doing okay. Hi, Meredith. Welcome here. Yeah, right. Right. Oh, thank you. Okay, you can hear you, see you. Hey, Lolo. Lola. Lolo or Lola? Let me know. Lolo number 1, Lola number 2. Hopefully I remember which one I did which. Hey, Geneva. Hey, Kristen. Welcome in. Hey, Sharon. Okay. Hi, Angela. Hey, Poor G-Town. I'm good. I'm good. Hey, Lily. I can tell you that I don't usually watch my lives afterwards. Hey, Vera. And I went back to watch a little bit of last night, and I'm so disappointed in my sound. I sound like I'm in a tin can, so then I have to talk loud. I'm going to look into something, some type of microphone for lives. I've tried the mics I have, and people said it was worse than without. But other people sound so good, so I need to figure out something. Hey, Robin S. Hi, Diane. Hope you're doing okay. Hey, Monique. Hey, Linda. Hey, Jessie. Hi, Adelaida. Hey, Laura E. Thank you. Yeah, lives aren't, to me, lives aren't really tutorials. Some people's lives are. We're going to do a little bit of a tutorial tonight. If you're interested, I want to do a little bit of design on the computer and just some mini lessons. I'm going to do a bling mini lesson. But if you're not, That's no big deal. We don't have to do it either. Hey, Kawanda. Hey, Elevate Artistry. Okay, hopefully I don't. Hey, Martin. Hopefully I don't miss anybody. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Uni. Hey, welcome. Okay, Lola, like Lolita. I love Lolita. Is Lolita your full name? That's beautiful. Okay, hi, Willie. Okay, I'm scrolling. Hey, Dims. Hey, Sheila, welcome. Hey, D. Smith. All right, keep going. Hey, Shay Shay. Okay, I think I'm to the bottom. So thank you guys all for being here. I do appreciate it. And let me figure out how to get off that one. So we are going to, let me go ahead and add my table. It's small right now. I have some shirts that I made designs for that I sold. And so I need to finish these. This is for a lady whose son plays football. And in this case, like a lot of people say, don't have people buy their own blanks. And I totally understand why, because you want to be able to get the exact same blank if you mess it up. But I know this lady, she gave me the Amazon link, but she did buy the shirts. So that's a little bit of a different thing. Hey, Anita. Hey, Twana. And so let me show you the designs real quick. And then notice I have a little bit of bling over here on the left chest logo type thing. When you're doing bling, you don't have to have a whole shirt of bling. You can just do a left chest logo. Or you're going to see in a little bit, I just outlined one of these designs in bling. So these are combination cut files, or in my case, I printed DTF. You could do DTF or you could do heat transfer vinyl. It could be either one because these don't have pictures or anything that you have to have DTF for. But it's faster, so I did that. So for my shirts, and I was so surprised because usually when this lady orders something, she's pretty conservative and she stays with smaller things than I would typically probably do. But she went big on this one. So I have a black shirt, and on the black shirt is a humongous number 86. It's huge. Huge. I was going to make it a little smaller, and she said, no, I wanted that size. I mean, that's the size that she ordered. Okay, I saw somebody. Who was it? Hey, Robin Murphy. Okay, I thought maybe I missed somebody else, but maybe not. So this is like a varsity font, and the film makes it where you can't see it quite as well, but it's a bright red and then a yellowy gold, kind of a canary yellow. It's going to look better on my front camera because this camera desaturates things. Hey, Lucille. But this 86 is going to go on this shirt, and then I have rhinestones that go around the perimeter. She didn't want rhinestones on the insides of the numbers, but they go around the perimeter. And when she first asked me if I could do that, I said yes. And she said, well, I just want my rhinestones every inch or so. I was like, I am not making a shirt with rhinestones an inch apart. So she trusts me. I took the liberty of going a little bit closer together than an inch because I just couldn't do that. Hey, Delana, thank you for being here. I just couldn't go an inch apart on the rhinestones, but they are much further apart than I typically would do. But we're going to do this 86. Again, this is DTF, but you could just very easily use heat transfer vinyl for this. That would not be a problem at all. And then I have the rhinestones that go around a bit. That's all that goes on this shirt. Again, she chose huge. I did not, this was not my recommendation. This is what she wanted. And I even kind of asked her, are you sure you don't want to go a little bit smaller? I asked her, are you sure you don't want to go a little smaller? Because she usually, like I said earlier, she's usually pretty conservative when it comes to that. So that's one shirt. And then the other shirt is this red shirt. These are, well, this one's ultra cotton, but it doesn't say heavy cotton. It says ultra cotton. The other one, I think it said, I'll look and see. Dry blend or tri blend, I can't remember for sure. All righty. Did I miss Eve coming in? Eve, I know you're here. Hey, Eve. Because everybody's saying hi to you. Okay, then on this shirt, it says Pitt Football. And so the inside is white, and then it has that canary yellow around it again. But look at this one. She showed me a picture and asked me if I could do this. You see the little grunge marks? She wanted all those little grunge marks in there. So I think that's going to be super cute. The red shirt will show through those grunge holes. So that's the front. This one doesn't have rhinestones on it. And then the back of it is another humongous 86. And she has kind of longer hair. And so we held this up to a shirt, and I'm going to go 5 inches down. That might be down quite a ways, but that is what looked good with her hair, and that's where she wanted it. So I think that's going to be a tiny bit lower than what most people would place it. All righty. Hey, Up Designs. See if I missed. Hey, Shamika, welcome here. Okay, I think I'm caught up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press 3 transfers onto 2 shirts. So 2 on one, 1 on the other. Then we're going to brush in the rhinestones on that transfer or the template that has the rhinestones way far apart. Hey, Miss Joyce. And then if you're up for it, if you're interested, I thought I might do a mini lesson on rhinestones. Outlining word in rhinestones. So we'll see. That's my plan. Thanks, Sheila. So I need to go ahead and turn my heat press on. I'm going to press these at 325 degrees for 13 seconds. It said 325 for 10 seconds, but I really feel like with the HTV Ronc press, it's coming down. Then it takes a minute to get it really calibrated into the right pressure. And so I went up to 13 seconds. Let's see. So Kristen, I wasn't even sure how far typical is. So if I go down just an extra inch, that probably won't look too bad. Oh, Eve, I won by default because your cutting machines wouldn't work right. That is the only reason I won, and I know that. I know that. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with, I think I'll start with the red shirt. I did pre-press my shirts. And so I pre-pressed them to remove the moisture. It also gets them nice and flat, but I pre-press this area here. I might go ahead and pre-press it one more time. When you have a red shirt, and the first time I pre-pressed a red shirt, I about panicked because you'll get a dark stain, not stain, you'll get a dark area on it. Uh-oh, I saw Karen say something wrong. What'd she say? Oh, she's saying hi to everybody. Thanks, Vera. So when I pre-pressed this earlier, I had that same darkness, and I have heard, I don't know if this is accurate, that sometimes it does that because of the moisture in the shirt, and that moisture darkens up. I don't know that that's true or not. Do any of you know if that's why red darkens up and then it goes? Dibs! I don't know if I have my bell here. Ding-a-ding. Oh, I found it. Ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Thank you, Deb. Thank you. Oh, my 34K. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Patrice Williams. Okay, so do any of you know why the red shirts, when you heat press them, go a darker red? And I'll show you what I mean if it happens, because I did pre-press this earlier, but if it happens again, I'll show you what I mean. Thank you. Thanks, Eve. Thanks, Adelina, Carol, Vera, Robin S., Jennifer, Wanda. I appreciate it. All right, this is only up to 285, but that's fine. Like I said, thanks, Valerie. I pre-pressed it earlier, so I'm not too concerned about it. The other thing, well, give me just a minute. The other thing is, hey, Zelda, thank you. Thanks, Karen. Thank you, everyone. D. Smith. You think the dyes hold moisture? Okay. Thanks, C. Mills. Thank Marlene. Thank you, everyone. Hey, Barbara, welcome. Okay, let's see if it did it. Oh, my, yes. Got to get it out here before it goes away. Okay. Let me see if it shows up better in front. Look at that stain. Or so I thought. The first time I did red, I thought it was a stain. It makes a huge color difference when you preheat it. That goes back to normal. It should go back to normal. Mine have always gone back to normal. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Okay, so on the red shirt, I gotta remember, make sure I don't do the wrong ones. On the front goes this pit football. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the corners of the design, and I'm gonna go ahead and put creases at the top and the bottom. Hey, Stacy, welcome. Dolores, welcome. Thank you. So I have the little creases, and those should be in the center. Now this is for a customer, so I'm also going to use my little t-shirt placement guide. It shows you the center. As long as you get it centered correctly on the collar, I'm going to get it. You might not see a little bit because I need to get it off my computer. And then you want to make sure that there's some red lines on this. See the red lines? You want that to go along the top of the t-shirt on both sides. And then you want it to be pretty well centered on the collar. Now, not all shirts are centered very well by the manufacturers. Then a typical placement would be about 3 inches down. What I don't know. Okay, so that line is at 2, and just above the bottom of this is at 3. And so I'm going to put it 3 inches down. Thank you, everyone. Hey, Crystal. Miss Joyce, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. I do have some fun coming up on the channel, and I can't wait till I can actually talk about it. But hang out at the lives. You might have something coming that you don't want to miss. But it'll be a few weeks. Okay, so I'm making sure, since this is flat on the top, that, and I'll pull it up in a minute, I'm making sure that the top of this is even with the red line on my t-shirt guide. Now, let me grab my tape. If you place your items on your t-shirt at the heat press, you probably don't need to tape it down. But since I'm going to be moving it, then I want to be sure and tape it down. Sheila, are you talking about the t-shirt guide? If so, I picked it out, but my daughter gave it to me multiple years ago for Christmas. And so if you remind me later, I will find this one. They are very inexpensive. That's one thing. You can also find other ones that have multiple different sizes. So if you do things for kids, adults, there's just different sizes in some sets. A lot of time those sets aren't the thick see-through like this is. I really love this one. And this one shows you like right chest, left chest. It's really nice. Okay, so I have this on the front. You can see it right there. If you came in after I showed this, and if you see little spots in it, that's the way the customer wanted it. She wanted the grunge look. She showed me a picture of one that she really liked. And so I'll tell you how I made it. And at some point, if you are very interested, I can actually do a video to show how I made the grunge effect. So that's 5 1/4 to that side of the football leg is that. 2 1/2 and 3. So I need to move it over just a little bit. You're welcome, Sheila. You're welcome. Got my old Arkansas accent sneaking back out of me. Kansas accent's bad enough. The Arkansas one really gets heavy. We try to hide that accent. Okay. I think that looks straight, but I do want to put my ruler back on it. I don't want to give this to the lady that bought it and she's like, that's really crooked. Okay, I think that looks good. Patrice! Patrice is watching in silence, but hi, Patrice. She is the name of it Deco Summit? I think it's called Deco Summit. It's in Florida. Angel Bee's there. They posted something earlier. Yes, Kristen, this would be harder to weed it if you were doing it on HTV. Now, my other design I did doesn't have the grunge look, and it looks great too. And I don't mean like, that is so great. I just mean it looks great without the grunge. I would have never thought to put the grunge in, but she's a little younger and hipper than I am. Let's say she's a lot younger and hipper than I am. Okay, so we are going to press this at 325 for 13. Uh-oh. Oh, Sharon Dallimore. Thank you. Okay, that is hilarious. So if you weren't here in the old days, my very first live, I was tricked into it. I was coming on with the Best Uni and Patrice to practice a private session the night before I was going to go on my first live. And they, and by they, especially Josephine was like, now you need to try it because you got to see what it's like to do the real thing. I was like, I don't want to. You need to do it. You won't know what you're doing unless you do that. And like, I didn't have my makeup looked like poo, my hair. I mean, we were just kind of practicing. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me as far as YouTube. But thank you so much, Sharon. Okay, so we're going to let this cool down. And it doesn't have to cool all the way, but I want it to cool quite a bit of the way down. It's pretty cool already. If you want to, you could put a ceramic tile on it. And if you're interested in DTF, there are a lot of companies where you can order DTF prints. You don't have to buy your own DTF printer. Hey, Dee Dee. What is, okay, the congratulations is because Dimp saw that I hit 34. I wish it was 44. 34, and it doesn't mean that much to me as far as 34 or 44. That's a whole lot more than I ever thought would ever subscribe. But I hit 34,000, and so Dimps was reminding me and everybody of that. Okay, so Hey, Deborah Browning. Anyway, I'm taking this sheet off, and it is down beautifully. If you do DTF, I'm not even sure puff works on the HTV run. I tried it on there once and I didn't like the results, so I went back to my regular heat press for that. Angel B is like the queen of puffs, so she would know how to make it work on an HTV runt. If you have an HTV runt press and you're not all that satisfied with it, I was pretty vocal that I thought the pressing mat that came with it was terrible. And I stand by that. It was terrible. Patrice! Patrice, where'd my bell go? Oh, it's up there. Thank you. Aw, thank you. Okay, so anyway, the HTV run, I was very vocal that I thought that the pressing mat that came with it was a piece of poop. It was awful. So I bought a replacement, a true heat press pressing mat off of Amazon, and it made all the difference in the world. I would never do DTF on this press without something that holds it super firm so you get really, really good pressure. The old mat, first of all, was too soft, and so you put pressure on something soft, it keeps going, it goes down, and you don't get good pressure on your material. So if you have one and you're not having great luck with it, you can see better days with it. Just need to get a real heat pressing mat. Okay, so after the first press, you guys are getting me all nervous. I was so excited before I came on. Now I'm getting all nervous. So after the first press, this is real smooth and almost slippery. And so what you can do is you can take parchment paper and you can I could say all kinds of fun things based on your recommended person. I love it. Thank you. You're welcome, Diane. I'm glad you enjoy having that pressing mat. Okay, so it's kind of slippery, very, very smooth. So we're going to put it back under the press for 10 seconds. So I'll lift it just a second or two early with parchment paper on it. And then we'll take it out, and then it'll be not glossy. It's really just sitting glossy, but it won't be so smooth anymore. It will feel like it's more melted into the fibers versus sitting on top of the fibers. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, and if you're interested, I do have a very short video. I don't know if it's 4 minutes or 6 minutes, where I talk about this replacement pressing mat. And so I know the word inexpensive is in the title, so if you want to check it out, if you go to my videos, it's something about inexpensive improvements to the HTV runt, something like that. Yes, it'll give it a matte finish. Thank you, Kristen. Get me back on track. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that for 10 seconds. Hey, Tanya. Oh, good. I'm glad it did. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have come on to do that video other than I just really thought that old pressing mat was terrible. And people spent good money on their HTV runt presses, and it really wasn't performing the way it should. And this makes a world of difference. All right. Thanks, Mary. All right, so now let me show you what it looks like so far. I think it looks really, really good. It's a huge design again. She wanted it huge. She wanted the large design. And this absolutely feels so much better after the second press. It's not bad after the first one. I don't like that smooth, slippery feel. So let's go ahead and flip this over and do the back. Now, I need to make sure, look at this. It could either be 86 or it could be 98. So I need to make sure that I have it as 86. Thanks, Dimps. Yep. Especially those large rhinestone designs. Thanks, Unbiased. Oh, so your HTV Ron, you haven't opened it yet? I bet you like it. Hey, Stacy. Just don't live with that bad that came with it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift this up and have the sides come together. And then I'm going to make creases where there's no ink. So usually I just do it at the top. Did I have that right? I don't think I had that right. Usually I just do it at the top and the bottom. There's no ink in the center of this one, so it's okay if I do that. There's my 86. And I want to come down 5 inches like she and I talked about because of her long hair. I'm still going to go ahead and place this up at the top. Even though the collar comes down too far, I can still put it at the top of the shirt, and I can kind of make sure that the red line, see there's a red line, that it ends about the same distance from this seam as it does on the other side. And right now it looks like it needs to go left just a little bit. And like I was saying earlier, a lot of t-shirts aren't made all that precise. Pull it off my computer. And so just kind of have to do the best you can. And then like me, I'm crazy about my ruler, so I pull out a ruler. Let's see if I can't move this just a little bit so you can see it. Okay, so 5 inches from the top is a little bit above this red line. So I'm probably going to use this red line, the red line that goes across, as my guide for the top of my design. And then I'm using, there's a red line. I hate that I'm doing this on a red shirt. There's a red center line and a center arrow, and I'm placing my crease at that line. So I know it's going straight across, and this is in the center, so the bottom should be straight too. Go ahead and take that out, and I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and measure from the bend 2 3/4, and this bend. It's pretty darn close. Very, very close. So just like last time, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on here so that when I turn around and move it, it doesn't slip at all. Then we're going to do the red and yellow on the black shirt, and that's the one that has some rhinestones going around it. Hey, Elba. Been in the bushes? Well, thank you for sneaking out for a minute and saying hi. And to everyone else in the bushes, thank you for being here. So I'm going to go ahead and press this for the exact same time and tip. Hey, Michelle, welcome. Hey, DB. DB, did I see you earlier? I don't know that I did. If I didn't, hello. And Stacy, I saw your comment. That's cute. Thank you. Okay. So again, ooh, that's hot. Let cool down for just a minute or two. You're making the labels for some new containers for your kitchen. So were you using a Cricut? Were you using vinyl, adhesive vinyl? How were you making them? When I first got my Cricut, I was going around the house looking for anything to put labels on or customize. I couldn't stop it. Now I'm just going to flip this over and put it on my table because the work surface is cooler, and that might help cool it off a little bit more quickly. Then I don't want to just rip it off. I want to make sure that the ink really is releasing from the film. And it's doing a great job. That looks great. Look at how funny it looks where those, I don't know if you can see it, where the grunge marks were. It just has a different look where the grunge marks were. We'll do it for about 10 more seconds and this shirt's done. And once again, I'm going to put parchment paper over the top of it. I assume, but I don't know, that Teflon would be okay. But I always read, well, from the first person I ever got transfers from, Big Boy Prince had these teas and things, send me some. And his instructions said Teflon. Now, I'm pretty darn sure that you would not want to use, okay. I let it crease, so now I see a little bit of a mark in my design where I left that imprint, so I'm going to put this back over again. Anyway, these teas and things, his instructions said Teflon, so that's what I've always used. Deborah, I made the design. Geneva, I did. So, what, you cut laminate on with the maker? So laminate. Like the clear paper that's sticky that you put onto something. We'll see if anybody knows. I haven't ever cut it. I did do my own DTF prints here at my house, but you can order them from companies and they're really inexpensive. I enjoy having one at my house, but you can order them and they're inexpensive. Okay, so here's the front. And the back's still a little bit dark from the heat, but there's the back. So I love it. I think it's cute. She showed me a picture of the design. It was not for this football team. It was for somebody. I think it was for the Chiefs, actually. And I found this word football font. I don't even remember what it was, but it looked like the picture she showed me. And then this is just kind of a varsity or university, I've heard other names for it, font. So there's shirt one. And then the one I'm excited about is the one with the rhinestones around it. So for shirt number 2, it is a black shirt, and it's called Dry Blend. But it doesn't feel like the thin, tight dry blend things I think of. This feels like a t-shirt. But there's that. And then this humongous 86 on the front. And then I'm going to put rhinestones around this. Now, Patrice can't hear me, but earlier I told everybody that the lady that ordered this wanted rhinestones around this, but she wanted them an inch apart. And I told her, I can't do an inch apart. I just can't do that. But I said, I will have them be spread out much more than I typically do, but I won't do an inch. And I know her well enough, and she's been a repeat person. She's bought multiple things that if she insisted, I would have, because that's what she thought she wanted, and it would have been okay. But I talked her out of it. Now, on the last shirt, I should have lint rolled it, and I didn't. But this black shirt, you can see all the little white fibers that come onto it. So this time I'll actually remember, because you definitely want to lint roll anything that you're putting vinyl or DTF or rhinestones on, especially if you're selling them. Okay. Hey, Kels. Hey, Latricia. Okay, so Sheila, you talking about the grunge? You'd like to see a video on the grunge? I can sure do that. Thank you, guys. Hey, Cassandra. Okay. The measurements for the design. So the red shirt, we'll just do the red shirt because it's got the 86 on it plus another design. And she wanted humongous designs, so I did humongous designs. But as Dem said earlier, we like really large designs. So this design is 11 inches wide. It cuts off right there. And it is just over 7.5 inches tall. So 11 by 7.5. And then this 86, which on the back of the shirt, it's really not that big because there's a lot of flat space on the back of the shirt. But this part of the design is just over 11 inches, 11 1/8 by almost 8.5. But I really, really like how it turned out. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pre-press this one. I did it earlier, but it is humid in Kansas, and so it's been probably an hour and a half ago since I pre-pressed it, and it's not going to hurt to pre-press it again. Thanks, Sharon. Mylene, hello. Let's see. I thought I'd love to see a video on grunge. Okay, thank you. I will sure do that. Hey, Robin's Creations. Okay, so this one only has a design for the front. Go ahead and lint roll that again. Get it as straight as I can. Just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and get the edges of the design together. And then press the little creases so that it gets nice and centered. So his number is 86, not 98. Hopefully I did 86 on this one. I'm sure I did, yes. And let's go down about 3 inches. Hey, Donzel. Crafty challenge. Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you being here. A lot of us like multitask on the shows. I know that for sure. I do. Okay, so we're going to place this up here. I'm going to move it down a little bit so it's off my computer again. Place this, and then, just like I said before, I'm going to try to have from this line to the shoulder, it's right at 3 inches. So I'm going to measure it over here, and it's like 2 3/4. So I'm going to shift it to the right just a tiny bit. I don't want to do much. Now, let's get it. I'm sorry, I'm like all up in the camera. Let's get it so the red lines are at the top of the shirt. I think I've stretched this up a little bit so it looks a little wacky. And I will tell you, this lady is not picky. Like I'll ask her all these little details and she's like, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I like it. Whatever you think. Thanks, Donzel. All right, so we are going to place this. Let me remember. I think 3 inches was to the bottom. Yep. So we're going to place this so that, now this is a really big design, so I'm going to move it up a tiny bit. But we're going to place it so that my crease in the vinyl is in the center line. And then I can tell that my yellow lines, I'm just fortunate that this design is very straight across the top. They are looking very even on that. I'm going to go up a tiny bit more. I just feel like with this being such a huge design, it probably should be a little bit closer up than 3 inches. I might hold it up before I press it on because there's no going backwards if it's too high. Thanks, Up Design. Have they started the actual like cutting and all that, or are they still talking? Okay, so let's hold it up. And it might be hard for you to see exactly where the color starts. She and I are about the same height. She's a tiny bit taller than I am. But see, it's such a huge design that I think it needs to be up that high. Do you guys have an opinion on that? It's so hard to see. So hard to tell for you with the film and everything. Let me look at it. I think it looks fine. I'll give you a minute to see what you think. And if I measure from the top of the collar down to it, if I measure from the top of the collar down to it, it is actually 3 inches. So I'm going to go with it. Looks nice and straight. Thanks, Tanya. I think so too. Hey, Alice, thank you. Patrice, you can tell I'm rushing. Take your time. Take your time, Marilyn. She's so sweet. It'll be okay. Patrice, can you hear me yet? Okay, here. Patrice, can you hear me yet? Slow down. Take your time. Not too on that big of a design works okay. Well, I'm a little closer than that, but that's okay. Okay, so here's something that when you are placing DTF on shirts, as the film starts to move away, thanks, Delonda, as the film starts to release from the ink, it looks splotchy. And that is just the ink releasing from the film. So every time that's happened, it's worked out okay. But it happened to me not too long ago. Here's what I think this is why I never noticed it. Oh, Courtney's dancing. Okay. Because the film I used to use wasn't nearly this see-through. It had more of a frosty, opaque, not opaque, translucent look. And so I have a feeling I didn't notice it on that film, but when I started using this new film that's more clear, that's when I started noticing it. But because of that, let's start taking this off really slowly, and it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But that did make me nervous the first time I saw it. Okay, this is a little bit shiny, and it's very, very slippery and smooth. So we're going to do that second press with the parchment paper. And then we just have to brush in the stones that go around the 86. After that, if you want to spend a few minutes on a mini rhinestone lesson, we will. Thanks, Mylene. Aw, you're so sweet. You're so nice. Looks good. Can't wait to see the stones added. Okay, so if you weren't here 5 minutes ago or at the beginning, this lady wanted stones every inch apart. And we're not going to put them every inch apart. They're going to be closer than that, but they're not going to be as close as what I would typically do. But here's what we have so far. Super, super cute. Very cute. And that feels, it feels so nice. It feels so much better. Okay, so now on to the stones. Where did I put those stones? There they are. Oh my goodness. So this is just going around the perimeter. And I have the stones about every 1/3 to 1/2 inch apart. So those are much more spaced out than I typically would. And if we do the mini lesson here in a few minutes, I'll show you what I would typically do. Also, I'm using black diamond because she was torn between crystal, which would really show up, or jet black, which would not show up that well, but would add a nice little touch of bling. And so I talked to her about the black diamond, which is kind of in the middle. It's not nearly as in your face as the crystal, but they're going to show up on the shirt. So I hope she likes how it turns out. I hope I like how it turns out. And then while I'm doing this, I might as well go ahead and turn my heat press up. And these are from the baby's booty. She has the instructions on them. It says 350. She says for 12 seconds. I do mine for 15. And the only reason I do that is because when I got them, I thought it said 15. So I set my press for 15 seconds. And it was a long time before I noticed it said 12. But 15 worked for me. So I was like, well, it works, so I'll just stick with it. So if you're not familiar with the black diamond, it is a muted, it's a little bit of a muted crystal. They are gorgeous. Patrice claims this is her favorite color. I'm not sure she still thinks that because over the years, over the months and the years, she's had a lot of, not favorite color, but favorites. But I do think she would probably say this is still her favorite color. And she can't hear me. Somebody should ask Craftable Things what her favorite color of rhinestone is. We'll see. We'll see what she says. Okay. I put way too many on here, but it doesn't matter because they're going right back into the container. Yeah, and Eve just said 15 seconds doesn't hurt. What I have heard Eve say is for certain materials. Hold on, I got something in my throat. I've heard Eve say for certain materials that like denim. Eve, how many seconds do you recommend on denim? Because I think it's more than the average or more than the recommended 12 seconds. But what I have heard her say is it's okay to go longer in time, but don't increase the temperature. So, Robin, I would have a hard time deciding on one favorite color. I really would. But, Robin, what's your favorite color? I don't know that I could say a favorite color. I could maybe say 10 favorite colors. Stacy, so I think I ended up doing 0.045 or something like that. We'll experiment here in a few minutes if you guys want to see a little mini lesson, we'll experiment and kind of see what each of the different spacings look like. Silver, oh, that's right. I'll bet you're right, Delonda. Delonda, what's your favorite color? I'll bet everybody in here almost can guess. I am going to guess. I can't think of the name of it. It's bright red. Why can't I think the name of it? You know what I'm saying. What is that bright red? Well, bright red. Okay, so then when I cut my transfer tape, let's see. Oh, thanks, Dimps. When I cut my transfer tape, I used a Dimps design trick, and I cut the transfer tape before I ever put stones in here. Because what you want is you want it large enough to cover the stones easily, but you don't want it so large that it's making a hard time getting it off the table. So this is a Dimps design original trick. I really love silver crystal and gold orange AB. Together or separate? Candy out. That's what I was trying to think of, Gail. Now, sometimes when I look at the black diamond stones, I see little hints of purple in them. And especially on this purple flock. Oh my goodness. Oh, I let it bow. I let it bow. So I'm going to scrape those off after the live. I didn't focus. I've lost my way. All right, let's pull some more of these up on here. I know, Dimps. Thank goodness it was a design with not that many rhinestones in it. Not together, okay. Well, you never know. There's some weird combinations that look good. All right. So I'm going to have to cut some more transfer tape because I'm not scraping those off until after the live. I could show you how you scrape them off. It's not too bad, especially like on a design like this that doesn't have that many stones in it. It's not going to be bad at all. What I do is I literally take this little thing and I scrape them off. It's not the most fun thing to do, but it works. Have you guys had to scrape stones off of your transfer tape before? Hopefully I'm not the only one. I don't know what the heck happened. I lost it. Lost my focus. All right. Okay, Sheila, I will find it and I will put a link in here. So here's my roll of transfer tape, and I use KTM mask, which I buy from Heat Transfer Warehouse. I like it a lot better than the first transfer tape that I used, which was a real flimsy one. Now, I don't know that I'm cutting it at the best size, because I should have cut it before I brushed those in. I better not do that same thing again. Okay, Tricia, did you ever find out how to prevent that thin white outline on the DTF prints? So mine will do a tiny little thin one, but honestly, it's nothing that bothers me at all, and I'm pretty OCD about things. Let me plug in my computer. And I'll have Patrice here yelling at me, asking me if my computer was plugged in. Latricia, I'll hold it up real close to the camera here in a few minutes. And Latricia, I think you have a DTF printer, don't you? Oh, you didn't see it on mine? If you look super close, you can barely see one. But I really haven't looked into it because mine haven't ever done it so much that it bothered me. Now I'm all stressed about this. Okay. There we go. So much better. The last one I let the corner touch, and then the rest of it went down, and it had a hump in it. And it was all over at that point. Okay, I am going to move this and get these stones cleaned up. So let's do this. So what software do I design to send DTFs off? Okay, so I design, first of all, I rarely truly design for the DTF prints. I typically use something I find on Creative Fabrica. I might add to it, but I don't design very often. I did do this design, but you know, it's just words. So I will either design in Inkscape, which is a free design software. And I had it before I had Silhouette Business Edition. And so I really learned how to design for things in Inkscape. And so I'll either use Inkscape, or in this case, I used Silhouette Business Edition. Even if I use Inkscape, I have to open it in something else to save it as a PNG. And so for my DTF printer, which I assume this is typical, you have to use certain types of files, and SVGs don't work. So I kind of make it as an SVG, and then I'll save an extra copy as a PNG. That way I can use it for whatever I want. I could use it for vinyl, somebody else could use it for vinyl, but the PNG, then that's what you use for the DTF. I know, Jolanda, Creative Fabrica is amazing. Amazing. Hey, crafting is my business. Welcome. Okay, let's see. I use Beautyberry on the Fed Up design. Oh, I like Beautyberry. Let's see. Made something in Design Space, and the DTF came back so blurry. Yeah, I would not use Design Space to design almost anything. For me, because I may be cutting on my Cricut, I may be cutting on my Silhouette, I might be cutting on my Romeo. I don't design in Design Space because you can't save them as SVGs. I might make a real simple design in Design Space, but I rarely do. Oh, so Stacy, you sent your design off to a company that made the DTF prints? Yeah. What file format did you save them as, since you can't save them as much of anything other than a Cricut file? Now, some people will trick it, and they'll design in Cricut, then they take the background off, and then they'll do a screenshot. That's going to be blurry. That is not going to come back clear. Okay, so here is the rhinestone design. She wanted it to be where the stones were an inch apart, which I didn't do, but they're quite a ways apart. And she didn't want it super, super on top of the DTF. So, give me a minute to try to place this down. Yes. Hey, Marika. Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and move this over, see if I can mess up these stones again. Okay. I'm just going to put it down and then move it around. This is such a large space. There's a lot of real estate on this tape because of the huge design. And I think I said earlier she did not want stones inside the letters. And I told her if she wants to change her mind later, she can, because I can always put them in, but if I put them in, I can't take them out. Well, you can, but you're going to see residue. So if Patrice is watching this and she can't hear that this was the customer's request, she's going to be like, Marilyn, those are so far apart. Now, I sure hope that my transfer tape doesn't mess up the DTF ink. Okay. Has anybody done this? Have you put bling around the DTF print? I think Patrice has. But because you pull your film off a DTF when it's cooled off, I think I'm going to let this cool down. I'm nervous all of a sudden. And then what I'll do is I will do a second press after I get this off, and I'll do the second press with the parchment paper back over it. But I'm really nervous about this all of a sudden. I don't know if I thought that through. Please come off, please come off. I'm going to have to let it cool off. That's wanting to pull up. Patrice, tell me it'll be okay. Oh, Deborah, are you talking about the DTF prints? Like from the company that she uses? Thanks, Donza. I hope so. I hope I didn't just mess it up. Yes, Cassandra, it does look sparse, and that was why I was trying to talk her into letting me just do it the way I usually do them. But she did at least let me do less or more than an inch apart. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's going to come off. It's coming off. Let me show you. But it's not coming off easily. coming off the DTF. Oh, I'm nervous. Nervous. I don't know if I would do this very often. Oh, it's okay. Especially once you get it started. Try to make it where you can see everything. I don't like this. Hey, Regina. Oh, Cassandra, now I think I know what you mean. You would have your stones in this area. That would be cute. Oh, I don't like this. I'm really having to pull hard on it. Now, fortunately, the DTF is holding up and doing great. It just makes me nervous. Like when you very first started using HTV and you would peel up your carrier sheet. And at least when I started, there were multiple times when you could see the HTV lifting. This isn't lifting like that, but it takes a lot of force to get this off. So I will not be advertising this as something I want to do. So dense. When I first started, when I looked at it at first, when I was doing it as a hot peel like you typically do rhinestones, the DTF ink was kind of acting like it was stretching. And so I went ahead and let it cool off. It's going to be great. I can just hear Delanda's voice. It's going to be great. Well, that wasn't quite Delanda-ish, but you guys can hear it. It's going to be just great. Okay, we're getting there. And actually, it's getting easier. I don't know if it's because it's cooler or if it's just I see the end coming and it just feels easier. It may be a figment of my imagination. Okay, Latricia, I see a little bit of white right here. I can see a little bit of white in various places, but it's super, super small amount. Oh my gosh. I haven't even noticed if the stones all stayed down. I was so stressed about the DTF. But it's there. It's off. Yeah, Cassandra, that would be so cute to have it between there. Okay, I did it. I made it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of parchment paper on top because parchment paper and DTF love each other. But that way I'll get more pressure and more time against those stones. And I feel like after pulling up so much on that DTF, I should, even though I don't think there's a problem. Now, with the stones being taller than the DTF won't get super great pressure. But I'm not concerned about that. DTF stays on your shirts when you wash them. And again, it wasn't lifting. The shirt and everything was lifting, but the DTF wasn't lifting off the shirt. Okay. Just got to find my parchment paper. Now I do have a Teflon sheet on the top part of my HTV runt. Oh no, did it slide back there? There it is. Found it. Okay, I need a breath. I just need to relax for a minute. I thought I had made a big old mistake by saying, yeah, I can do that. Sure, I can do that. What did they tell you? What did Delanda tell us? Don't agree to anything until you know you can do it. This is a customer friend. I wasn't too concerned. But definitely don't take orders for 10 sublimation tumblers until you've done some to make sure that you know how to do it. Stacy, just breathe. Okay. All right, in the end, it looks great. It would look greater with more stones on it, but it looks perfectly fine for what she wanted. And it's better than having them an inch apart, which is what she really wanted. Let's see. There it is. All right, so we have the 86 with a few stones around it. I did black diamond, and we have, I really love this shirt. So the red didn't have grunge. The red and yellow transfer didn't have grunge. And then on the red shirt, we have the white. Am I going the right way? The white and yellow transfer that has grunge on it. It may look crooked, it's just because I'm holding it crooked. And then on the back we have the 86. It also has the grunge on it. And that's all as far as things I need to make. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, is anybody interested in a short little bling lesson? Or just playing around with bling for a minute? Thanks, Eve. Now I did a HTV with bling around it, and I don't remember that being nearly as difficult as this. Okay, so a short little lesson. Let me get my phone to my live, because once I show my screen on my computer, I can no longer see the chat. I tried to find my live earlier before we started and I couldn't find it. Let's see. My videos, live. My live isn't showing up. Why can I not watch my live? Damps? Damps, can you text me a link to my own live? That sounds so sad. I've always been able to find my lives, but I have not been able to find it tonight. Let me just go to my channel, like it's not me looking for it, like it's somebody else. Or Dimps, if you want, you can just text it to me. Oh, I could go to Facebook because I put it in Facebook. I've lost my mind. Okay, let's go to Facebook. See if, oh, that's cute. I know Carolyn Neff's not on here, but thanks, Dimps. She posted something super cute. Okay. I appreciate it, Dimps. Oh, thanks, Unbiased. Okay, I'm going to turn it up just for a second to make sure that I'm in the right place. Oh, thanks, Unbiased. I'm in the right place. Oh, but I'm watching it through here and I don't have my comments. Oh, my word. My comments aren't showing up. I am technology deficit. Okay, well, here's the problem. When I do this, I'm not going to be able to see your comments and your questions. I totally don't understand this. Maybe I can still see them up here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to open. Oh, I can still see them up there. So I'm going to open my Silhouette software, and then I need to share my screen. Okay, it looks like you can see my whole screen. I'm going to do it in Silhouette. That's what I use to do my rhinestone templates. When I first started out, but I hadn't sold any templates yet, I used Shortcuts a lot. Scowl is what some people call it. You can do templates in Scowl, but it doesn't have nearly the features that Silhouette does. For example, I think you can only do linear fill. You can't do radial fill. And Scowl, when I bought it, I think it was about $60. And like right now, Silhouette Business Edition, I put a link in the video description to Swing Design. I believe it's on sale for $49. They have it on sale a lot of the time. Like a lot of the time it's on sale for half price. But then there have been periods where it wasn't on sale. And so when let me just open that up because I want to show you something that when I bought mine I was confused about. So let me just show you. So if you go to Swing Design, if you use my link, it is an affiliate link. I want to be open and honest. I'm not telling you you should buy this. If you're interested in rhinestone designing, this is a good software. It's an inexpensive software compared to the other softwares, like the one that the Rhinestone World uses, which is multiple hundreds of dollars. Okay, so you go to software, click on Silhouette. I just click on that so I see all of them. So when I bought mine, here's what I bought. This is what you need to buy if you want to make rhinestone templates and save them as SVGs. If you cut on a Silhouette, this version also has the rhinestone software, but you cannot save your designs as SVGs. You can only cut them on your Silhouette. And so since I put mine on Etsy, hey Penny, yeah, Business Edition is the way. I believe so too. I mean, it's only $12 more, $12.50 more. But when I first looked at this, I was like, okay, it says I'm upgrading from Silhouette Studio to Business Edition. So what I did, because I didn't know if I could just go directly from nothing to the Business Edition, and this was before I bought my Cameo 4, is I went down here and I got the free basic edition. I uploaded that, or I added that to my computer, and then I went back and I did the upgrade from Silhouette Studio to Business Edition. So I'm not saying you should go buy this. I'm just telling you what I did. If you're interested in learning to make rhinestone designs, then there are a few of us, several of us. Hey, David, that have some videos on YouTube, but then Patrice, Craftable Things, she also does design classes, which I think many, many of you have probably taken. That's how you did it, Elba? Yeah. Okay. Teach me something, Marilyn. Okay, so I'm just going to do something really simple, and that is to do an outline of something like I did tonight. Like I said, I've done it on HTV before, and it worked fine. I haven't really done it with DTF, and that was a little bit scary. So I'm not saying you should do it with DTF. It worked, but it was scary. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the text tool. Hopefully you can see where this is. I'm making a little circle around this text tool, and then I'm going to click over here on Silhouette. I started using Silhouette when I was doing rhinestone templates, so many of you out there in the chat probably know a whole lot more about Silhouette than I do, and I did rely on some people. Hey, Rogie! I did rely on some people when I started because I had some questions. I couldn't figure out why it was doing what it was doing. But I have made a lot of rhinestone templates, and this is what I use. Okay, so I'm going to type the word hi, and I'm just going to drag it so it's a lot larger, and then I'm going to change it a color so we can actually see it. To change color, you're going to go right here to this palette. If you can see my cursor circling over there, I'm going to go to this palette. It's called the fill panel. I didn't know that till now. I've always called it the palette, color palette. And then I'm just going to pick this color right here. Now I don't want to use Arial. I want to use something cute. And I was playing with this earlier today. This question mark one, That's actually something like a varsity font or a university font. It had a different name, and for some reason it doesn't recognize the name. It recognizes the font. It's called AB Sports Varsity, and I got that off of Creative Fabrica. So let's go back and do Bastion. Okay, so one of my questions when I first started was, how in the world do you tell what the true size is? Because notice it thinks it's going all the way down to here. And so what you can do is you can go Object, Make Compound Path. Nope, that's not it. Go to Object, Convert to Path. Now notice, even when I convert to path, there is a cut line here. So if you're using this to do HTV, then you still need to go up to Object, Modify, and Weld. But you can see now that it's measuring truly from the bottom to the top and side to side without all that extra stuff. Okay, let's make this a little bit smaller. You can't see everything on my screen because I'm on a small screen. When I'm on my large screen, you can see a lot more. I'm just going to drag it down. It doesn't need to be huge. We're just playing. Okay, so now at this point, if I wanted to have a second layer, first of all, notice this, even when you weld in Silhouette, it is not like Cricut. I can drag this away. So in addition to welding the letters that we're touching, we're going to select those and the little dot, and we are going to go ahead and group those. Now the circle is not by itself, it's part of the overall design. Okay, so now if I want a little bit of an offset, say I want a little line around it, I can show you how to do this too, but I'm not talking about, oh, you can't really see. On my varsity font, there was a gap. And so let me show you without the gap what I would do. So I would go right over here, and it looks like a star. This is the offset panel. You can do an offset or an internal offset, which is an inset. So I want to do an offset. I'm going to click that. And because this font is loopy and rounded, it's not a straight squared off one, I'm going to go ahead and stay with my corners being rounded. I don't even think they'd look different on this with squared. But on some fonts where your corners are really squared off, it makes a big difference. Okay, so if I want to increase this offset, I can do it with this arrow, or I can drag it. And let me go ahead and go up a little bit. I'm going to put 0.1. You can't see the difference yet, but if you watch when I hit return, it made it a little bit larger. If I like that, I say apply. Notice the circle is all by itself again. So before I forget, I'm going to go Object and Group. Okay, is that going okay so far? I don't think my chat is moving. Hey, Baby Giant Services. Let me see if I can really see the chat over here. Okay. So to change that a color, I'm going to click on this little palette again, and let's just make it kind of a fun green. Now at this point, you could cut both layers, but if you do, you're going to be putting the blue on the green. I don't like that. I know you can layer HTV. You're not supposed to layer glitter, but I know you can layer HTV. I don't like to. So let me go back. And the first thing that I will do before I do anything else is I'll select everything. I'll hit Command C for copy, Command V for paste. And let's just throw that over there. Then we are going to select both of those. We're going to go Object, Modify, whoops, and Subtract. So now this will go against your shirt, and then for the inside layer, this will go against your shirt. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, so now to add rhinestones to the outside of this, ooh, let's go back. To add rhinestones to the outside of this layer is the same size as my green layer over here. So let's move this off the screen and let's move this on. I'm going to work from the solid green layer because if I didn't, if I worked from this layer, I would have rhinestones outside and inside, and I want them inside because my vinyl's in there. So first thing I'm going to do is select this. Then if I just made this, let me show you. Here's the rhinestone panel, and I just want rhinestones around the outside. If I use this layer and I made the rhinestones, they're going to be about the same size as my green layer. And you don't want that. You want them around the outside. So let's go back. If I click on this, it takes away the rhinestones. And I want to do a small offset. The offset's what I'll use to do the actual rhinestone design. So I'm going to click on offset, the offset panel, then I have to click on offset. And I don't know if that's going to be a good size or not. Let me change it to color that we can see. I'll turn it to black. It'll be nice and dark. The black layer is still selected. My little circle is separate, I see, so I'm going to group it. And then I'm going to go back over here to this rhinestone panel. So let's click on that. And let's tell it to put rhinestones around the edge. Okay, so that was a good size. It is going to vary depending on the size of your design, what your offset should be. But that looks pretty good. I could have had it slightly smaller and the stones would be a little bit closer, and that'd be great too, but this isn't bad. So let's play around with a few things. Now if I was making a whole design, I would have it, you can't see it because it's behind there, but there it is. But on this design, I'm just doing the perimeter. So now if I drag this away, you can see it's just around the edge. So we're going to play with a few things. You may have heard us talk about SS6 stones, SS10 stones. Those are the two most common with apparel. Patrice loves these SS6s. I believe Delonda just ordered some, so she probably loves them now too. I love the SS10s. So you can use either one you want. And then there's also an issue of how close together do you want them. Standard on my machine, I assume it's standard on everyone's, is 0.039 spacing, but you can change that. I tend to use 0.025, and that gets them a little closer. Some people will go down to like 0.015, and that gets them even closer. With my friend, the way she wanted hers, I don't remember what I used. Let's say 0.05. And that spread them out. So I must have used larger than that because there was less stones in that. 0.08. You just kind of play around with it. But for now, we're going back to 0.025 because that's kind of what I typically use. Now I want to show you, make this smaller. At this point, if I grab this design and I'm like, ooh, that is too big. It's 10.5 inches tall. It's going on my daughter's shirt. I want it to be smaller. Well, first of all, notice right now there's 392 rhinestones. So if I drag it smaller, now there's 346. If at this point, before you release those rhinestones, which we'll do in a little bit, but at this point you can drag your design in and out and make it larger or smaller, and it'll add more or take away rhinestones. Okay, I'm going to go back until I get it to the right size for the rest of my design. Okay, I think I'm there. Now, notice these rhinestones down here. They're a little janky. They're okay. Maybe you don't even want stones down in there. Maybe you want to fix something else. What you can do when you're ready to fix your rhinestones, after you know you're at the size that you want it at. I said the name of the font, it's Bastion. So once you have it to the size you want it, but it has to be the size you want it, then you can release the rhinestones and you can fix whatever you want to fix. So maybe I don't even want those rhinestones going down in there. Oops. Maybe I just want to stop right here. Let's look and see what that looks like. That's not the right layer. Okay, there we go. Maybe I like it better without the stones. Or maybe I want stones down in there, but I didn't want them all janky like that. I could have deleted some and moved them around individually. I can take one stone, select it, hit Command C for copy, Command V for paste, and drag it over where I want it. Another thing you can do, which I rarely do, is you can go to freehand. So it says freehand, and you click where you want your stones. And when I do this, I always have to move them around anyway, but it is a way that you can do it. So now I need to go back and select all of them and turn them black so that I can see them really well. Okay, so maybe I like them down in there, but I want them kind of straight. I'm just going to drag them around. Okay, so let's pretend like that's exactly how I want it. And I'm ready to save those circles as one file. Instead of the way they are right now, they're all each their own little individual image. Let me blow this up. See how there's a box around every one? That is going to majorly bog down your machine. So you need to do something with these to make them so it's just going to be one, what's called path. So eventually what you want to do is go from object to make compound path. But there is an important step, because if I say make compound path now, they jump around. So I'm going to hit the back button. They're all selected. The first thing you do is go to object and group. Then you can go object to make compound path. And it turns on a weird color. Usually the color just goes away, so you add color back to it. Now here's another thing about silhouette. And it's going to show up on this green layer even better. See how there's a red line around it? If that red line annoys you like it does me, go up to Panels, Line Style, then you can click on this second button over here, and then this means no color, so it takes it away. What I do is I go immediately back to Panel and Fill Color, or the next time I try to do something, it's going to mess with my mind because it's only going to change the line color, not the fill color. So let's put our design together and see what it looks like. I no longer need this. Oops, I lost that inside. I no longer need this. That was just to make my offset for my rhinestones. So let's go back and tell that. Oh no, I gotta go way back. Okay, there we go. So the inside piece got separated, so we're going to go object and group. My little circle got separated too. I should have paid better attention, but it'll be okay. I'll fix it in a minute. So here's how everything lines up. Let me make it larger here in just a minute. And I'm really, there we go. I didn't mess up. I'm okay. So we're just going to place this in here so that we see how it really looks. And then we're going to place our other layer in there. And then we got to go find that green circle because I didn't group it when I should have. Okay, so here is just a 3-layered design. You have your 2 pieces of HTV, and then you have your rhinestones around the outside. I don't know if that helped anybody, but that's how you would do that. Now, if all you want is 1 layer with rhinestones around the outside, you don't have to worry about slicing and all that. You're going to go ahead, make a copy of this, save your copy, because the rhinestones have to be made on an offset. Otherwise, they're going to sit on top of your vinyl. So the easy way, just go to offset, pick an offset. Now remember last time I thought it was a little bit too large. So let's take it down a little bit. This is going to get the rhinestones closer to the HTV. I'll say apply. I like to have it a color I can see, so I'm going to go ahead and change it. And then see this circle? It is separate, so I'm going to Object and Group. Now I'm going to leave this green layer in the middle. What happened to the bottom stones in the H? I don't know. I already clicked off of it. I'm sorry. So I have the black layer selected. It's my offset. That's going to be my layer for my rhinestone. So I go to the rhinestone panel. I say, let's put a little razzle dazzle in this. There's my stones. They are not touching my vinyl. And in fact, where you see the black circles, those are my cut lines. My stones are actually going to be inside of there. And so that's really very nice. I can make my holes closer. I can make my holes farther apart. But I have to make sure everything is the way I want it, other than little bitty cleanups, before I release my rhinestones. Now, there's 372 rhinestones now. If I take my whole design and I make it larger, I want a bigger design. It's going to change the number of stones, but it's going to keep those stones at the right size. Once you hit release rhinestones and you try to make it larger or smaller, your hole sizes are going to get off. You don't want to do that. Okay, so let's say I like this size. I don't like how they look in there, so I say release rhinestones. And then I go down here and I just really start looking at them to determine what should I do to make that look better. And probably what I would do, and if you're making rhinestone templates, you're going to move a lot of stones around. I mean, this is nothing compared to really what you usually do, because this is just an outline. But I'm moving around just a little bit. Maybe I just want it to come straight down in here. Really, it's whatever your personal preference is. Let's just get rid of that one. Stretch this up, stretch that up. You know, just something like that. Okay? So, does anyone remember the next step? First of all, I can get rid of this. Let's make this a better color. It's a little bright. Let's make it hot pink. There's that. That is not grouped together, so I have this selected. I'm going to hold the shift key down. I'm going to add the rest of the pink to it. I'm going to go up to Object and Group. You can see I have a problem remembering to group things. Okay, Cassandra, that's right. So I'm going to move this pink layer out. I'm going to select all those stones. And I'm going to go Object, Group, and then object, make compound path. And then I can put a color back in that. And I'm going to get rid of those red cut lines. And then I want to show you one more thing that Patrice taught us. Has nothing to do with rhinestones. Okay, so we're going line style and get rid of the red lines. I'm going to go back and put it on fill color. I just do better that way. Okay, so now you would never, ever, ever, ever do this, but I want to put two things on this thing here, and then I'm going to copy and paste a pink thing over here. Sometimes, and a lot of times, your colors are really mixed in together. And I used to spend a ton of time, like let's say these were still, separate. I would spend a ton of time, if I had other colors in there, picking and picking and picking and picking like colors to group them. This is not a good example of that because you never do it that way, but just bear with me. So if I want to find everything on my panel that's pink, or let's go with black, I'm going to go up to Panel, select by color, click on Fill. I can click on the black. I get everything that's black. So I'll say Object, Group, Object, Make Compound Path. It always puts that red line back on there. Let's put them back. Now, what if I want to pick everything on my panel that's pink? There's two things you can do. I usually work with what I'm truly working with on the panel, and I put my extras off to the side. So if I want to pick what I'm truly working on, select by color, and I want the pink thing, I click on this and it says only shapes on media. So if I click on that, it only picks this one. If I want to pick everything that's pink, unclick this, click on it, and now it selected both of them. So that's just kind of a quick, super duper fast little rundown on making an outline, which I did for the shape that I did tonight. So I wanted to show that to you. So, lots and lots. Everybody said group, 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 then compound. Excellent. Select all the stones in group, group. You're welcome, Elba. I would like to start incorporating more like true tutorials into my lives versus just working on something, but working on something, chatting, having fun, but then adding something where I'm actually showing something that I've used. Just getting home from the day job. What are we making? So over here we craft for money. Let me show you. I'm going to go ahead. Are there any questions before I just get rid of this screen? Thanks, Victorious Creations. You can do 2 days a week. If you truly want to learn, this is like just a tiny little tip of a toe into the water, if that's a phrase. If you truly want to learn how to do rhinestone designs, I would suggest sign up for one of Patrice's design classes. She offers them on occasion, multiple times a year. And she does use, in those classes, she uses Silhouette Business Edition. Thanks, Robin's Creations. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this screen. And let's go ahead and remove that. And I'll show off what I made tonight, and then we're done. And thank you guys so much for sticking it out all the way to the end. And I'll just go ahead and take my table off. I'll get rid of that thing. Okay, so one of the things that I made tonight was this shirt right here. See if I get in the right place. My friend has a son that plays football. It's his second year at the college, but it's his first year to play. He was redshirted the first year. And his number's 86. And she sees me wear my rhinestone shirts all the time. So she asked me if I could make an 86 with some rhinestones around it. She wanted the rhinestones an inch apart. I didn't put them an inch apart, but I did space them out much more than I typically would. But I like the idea of putting them in between the two colors. So there's one thing I did. And then the other, and that's DTF, but you could do that with HTV. The other thing I did was this shirt. This shirt's also DTF. If I get it close to the screen, you'll see she wanted grunge. She showed me a picture of what she wanted, and I found some grunge that looked like it. So, Latricia, you're not going to be able to tell on the white, but you can see on the yellow, there's just a minuscule and very minuscule amount of white on the edge of those. Anyway, this was a design she picked out. She showed me, I think it was a Kansas City Chiefs shirt. And so I recreated it. And then there's the back. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Would not have thought it was DTF. Yeah, because it looks like vinyl. Because it's just solid colors. And anytime you're doing things in solid colors, not a picture where you need to be able to print something. Anytime you see something in solid colors, you can do that with your HTV. Both of these would be fine in HTV. It might be a lot of work to weed out all the little grunge things if you do grunge, but on the DTF printer, it just prints that way. And so somebody did say they'd like to see a video of how I did the grunge, so I'll plan on doing one of those. And then let me look really, really quick in Amazon for the ruler, because somebody wanted that t-shirt ruler or t-shirt guide. So let me see if I find this exact one. There it is. It's $19.95. I think when I picked it out for my daughter, but it's been multiple years ago, it was probably about $5 less than that. Yeah, the grunge is really popular now, isn't it? This is an Amazon affiliate link. So if you want one of these and you use the link, I get a little bit of money. I appreciate that. Anytime you use affiliate links of any of us, whether it's me or Teresa or Lon or Eve or Demps or anybody, you don't pay more for your item, but it does help us with our channels. But never buy anything you don't want. Just if you truly, truly going to buy it anyway, then we appreciate if you use our affiliate links. Okay, Sheila. So there I dropped it. And then I'll just put on my schedule to show how I did the grunge. Again, it would be a little bit difficult with a Cricut or a Romeo to weed it. I guess I could try it in the video. We'll see. But that is all I have for tonight. Thank you guys for coming on. I was so glad to come back this week, and I appreciate you being here. And I probably will be on next Thursday again. And then hopefully I have a couple of videos between now and then, at least one. I don't know. I went back to work full time, and it's been busy. Stacy says the ruler's worth every penny. I think it is. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks over here. We craft for money. Appreciate it. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everyone. All right. So we have the usual lineup coming on this weekend. Delonda, are you and Patrice going on? I know you guys told us. I know you told us last night or the night before, but is it Saturday or Sunday this week for So Good? No So Good this weekend. Okay, with Patrice, she's traveling and all that. Okay, so no So Good this weekend, but the next weekend, they sometimes do it on Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, and they're demonstrating how they're making projects in their multi-needle embroidery machines. And then Eve will be on Sunday. I can hear her saying, God willing, the creek don't rise or something like that. Eve will be on Sunday night. And then we come back through the week and we do, oh, and Patrice usually comes on Friday night. Delon, are you coming on tomorrow night, or is she coming on, or is it an off night? Okay, we'll see if Delon answers that, and then we'll say good night. Thank you, and have a blessed night, everyone. Thank you, Marika. Oh, you missed last Sunday. Good night, Karen D. Good night, Donzel. Okay, I'm not sure about Friday night, but I'm sure that they'll have a notification if there is. She will be back, I think. Okay, so maybe Patrice tomorrow night. Awesome. You're welcome, Martha. Martha, thanks for being here. All righty. Until I see you again. Shay, I'm going to go watch your crafting challenge. Anyway, bye. Mwah.